All right, now we're going to talk about comments made by Austin Rivers. We've
Oh,
mentioned Austin Rivers on this channel before. I'll say this about Austin Rivers: he does not seem because he's trying to have a media career for himself because he kind of and I feel bad for him. He's kind of been xed out, like he's kind of been xed out of the NBA because of the way the NBA does things right now. There's no more mid-level players. There's only like max deal guys or or low exception, guys who are gonna make like a 2 3 years $7 million deal. There's no mid guy. There's either you're down here in terms of your contract or you're a max deal player. And I don't think that that's right for people like Austin Rivers because he's good enough to still be in the league, I think. But he's on ESPN. He'd be on that show to jump. Is it no NBA, whatever it's called now? The jump was the one with Rachel Nichols, the better
yeah.
one. Um, and not this current trash. And but he does say honestly what he thinks on certain topics. He doesn't strike me as somebody who you know toes the line and tries to not offend people. But he has some interesting comments about him not wanting Bronny James to play with LeBron because he feels like it would be a detriment to Bronny James's career. And he is citing his own experience playing for his dad, Doc Rivers, as an example as to why he feels that way. So this says former Nuggets player makes controversial LeBron James statement. It feels like everyone wants to see LeBron James play on the same basketball team with his son Bronny. However, Austin Rivers believes the idea might not be so great. While speaking on ESPN, Rivers explained why he believes it would be best for Bronny to not play on the same team as his father, LeBron James. If there is one person who has dealt with a similar situation, it's Austin Rivers when he played for his father, Doc, on the Clippers. So I could read the quotes, but instead I'll just go ahead and play this clip of Austin Rivers talking about this.
You.
Yeah, we got another Twitter link again, so it might take a minute.
Oh, jeez. And I don't know what kind of sweater that is that he's wearing. It's a little bizarre, bro.
Yeah.
I guess it has like, I don't know. It's like, because it's like a whole bunch of like faceless people with numbers on them. I don't know. That's what that's supposed to be.
All right. It usually works after a refresh. This only happens with these Twitter videos.
Yeah, but Twitter is like the only way we can like low key circumvent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's
man.
on Twitter, it's fair use.
It's fair use. Come on, man. We're
Yeah.
just sharing a social media link.
Yeah. And these websites with all of this cookie and you gotta wait for the thing to load up. So yeah, it's annoying. Yeah.
All right, let's get
But
this.
here we go. So we'll go ahead and try it again. It should work this time. There was one commenter on the last video that we did where the Twitter link was doing this, and he was joking saying that we got that broadband internet.
At DSL.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Bro, I remember, bro, like low key trying to log on like at 11 o'clock at night. I'm supposed to be in the bed for school the next day. Here go my thing. Boom, boom. I'm like, bro, what's up, bro? You stitching on me? Man, hey man, you might have to read them quotes, playboy.
Yeah, I'll just open it up. I'm gonna open it up on the X.
Oh, we're getting all the way with it.
Yeah, I'm opening up on the X.
One thing about Austin Rivers, though, man, I'll just go ahead and say this before you get a plan. People just hate him, bro. I don't know why people hate Austin Rivers.
I think they look at him as a Nepo baby.
Mm.
I think they look at him as a Nepo baby and they don't like him.
Mm.
Yeah, so for future reference from now on, if there's a Twitter video in an article, we're just gonna go directly to Twitter. We're not gonna play the embed because the embed is not our friend.
We still getting this spinning.
But here we go. Here we go.
The spinning wheel of suspense. Yeah, but
What do you mean?
I don't want to see Bronny play with his dad. I really don't.
Why?
I just.
Oh Lord.
I went through something similar. It was a very similar situation, but also different. I was already in the NBA when I went to go play for him. What happens is a lot of people start to discredit everything that you've done. This kid has been in the limelight since he was born. First day on Instagram, he had 1 million followers. He's handled it so well. He's played well in Sierra Canyon amongst talent and was able to get himself to a school like USC. Right now, his numbers don't scream pro. So if he is to go in the draft or if he gets picked, it'd be great to get picked up by a contending team that could help him, put him in a situation, because he does have talent. He does have basketball IQ. He has potential. Him going and play with his dad, at this point in his career, just because Bronny's success isn't at a top-tier level,
right?
Him getting drafted and playing with his dad, I don't want that negativity to come his way because he doesn't deserve it. He's not a top 10 pick. He's not a lottery pick. He's none of those things. I was all those things. And then still, when I went to go play for the Clippers, people were like, oh, you're only in the league because you're that. After me being the #1 player in the United States 2 years prior.
Right.
This is a whole different situation. And at a different level, because, Doc's great. LeBron James is the most popular basketball player to ever play other than who? Maybe Michael Jordan?
Right.
It just would be a lot, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I hope for the kid that he's able to not only play in the NBA, but play somewhere where he can kind of niche out his own identity. His name's already Bronny. You know what I mean? Everything that we talk about with him, it always kind of folds back to his dad, rightfully so. He plays for USC, and his dad plays down the street for the Lakers. It's just an insane situation, and the way he's handled it, I'm a fan of Bronny. I really am, but I hope it goes somewhere else. I really do.
Yeah, man, I heard people just unmuting, just telling him to shut up. Steven Jackson calling him a bum. Yeah, your boy Stack 5.
I think we have already established that if there is a list of people who shouldn't be listened to, he is on it.
Bro,
he is one. Like, oh wow, I'm glad you said that because that helps me formulate how I feel about this.
Yeah, man. One
if
thing
Steven
about
Jackson calls him a bum, then I definitely might defend him because I think that
no, listen. One thing about Stack, bro, he's got his pulse on the culture.
Oh,
and he's gonna he's gonna call out all these phonies. And one thing about Austin Rivers, like again, I don't know why I can figure out why they kind of hate him. Because it was kind of like some of the stuff he was saying in his thing. Were you the #1 player in the country? Yeah, he was. But some people thought that was because he was Doc Rivers' son. Now, we all saw that mixtape. It was crazy. But it was still a thing where it was like, but it's because it's Doc Rivers' son. At least me, I thought. He was like, oh, yeah, he's not top 10. He's not lottery picking. I was all of those things. It's that stuff. I think because there's people out there that don't like Devin Booker either. And I think Devin Booker got a little bit of he got a little bit of the ego that people don't like. I think people think he's self-absorbed. So, hey, we're just saying. So I think
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I think with this situation here, I think people are just already, as soon as people say the name Austin Rivers, people are automatically ready to throw tomatoes. So for him to say what he was saying here, I feel as though I agree with his empathy with this. I think he really is trying to, for LeBron, Bronny's sake, for him not to go through what he went through, being Doc Rivers' son. And for him saying that, hey, man, that's all true. That, him and Michael Jordan are most popular people. You can ask a girl who don't know a lick of basketball. She know who LeBron James is. And so it's kind of hard to be your own man underneath that shadow in the league. But that's what comes with the territory. If he shouldn't have played basketball if this wasn't going to be a thing. But he's playing, the other son is playing, so they will forever be compared and all this other stuff. Fair or unfair, at least they can cry in Ferraris. So hopefully, this whole thing with Bronny, because it's out there. I've seen some of his highlights. I've seen what he's got going on. That's second round at best. What we're talking about right now. And I think it'd be really forced. So the only way I think Bronny could be his own man is if he doesn't jump to the league next year and he just plays college ball. If it took him 3 years, he did it, and he made a name for himself playing college ball and then got into the league. But right now, if he just gets streamlined into the league, just end up being on LeBron's team. You know, I'm hearing a lot of rumors about the Knicks. So if it's one of those things where he's just on the end of the bench kind of thing, so he can be there, I think all of it sounds good. It's a good narrative. It's a good story. If I were LeBron James, it sounds like a good thing. But at this point, it's starting to come off a little, to me, a little selfish. And I don't know whose dream this is, LeBron's or Bronny's. And that's the part about this that rubs me the wrong way. So, but I'm wishing Bronny the best, man. But from what I see right now, he needs a lot of work to be NBA ready. He can be on an NBA team and play G League, but be a contributing factor on any kind of competitive team. He's a bit of a ways from that. So maybe 1 or 2 years more in the incubation chamber at USC will get it done, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. So yeah, I kind of agree with Austin, but you know, the streets hate him. How about you, man? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with Austin Rivers here? Do you feel as though this is a little unfair for little Bronny? Or you know, or do you feel like he should just shut the hell up like everybody else is saying?
I don't understand the problem with Austin Rivers. Like, are people disagreeing with his comments because he's the one who said it, or because they actually think that they disagree with his actual comments?
I think they're just telling him. I think it's him. Only thing, it can be anything. Only thing he has to do is just say something, and then somebody in the back, like, you know, a character from The Simpsons or SpongeBob.
I think the Clippers thing messed him up. I think he was like neutral in terms of how he's perceived as a player until he went to play for the Clippers and he was playing for Doc. I think that messed him up. And like, I think he was a meaningful contributor on the team. I don't think that he was just on the team to claim a roster spot and collect contract money. I think he contributed, but you know, his dad was the coach, and so it just wasn't a good look. And I think that's what messed him up, because I don't think he says bad things. Like when he talked about the eradication of the mid-level contract in the NBA, I was like, yeah, he's absolutely correct about that. He's 100% right. Like, there is no mid-level player in the league anymore. You're either a max deal guy, or you're a guy who signs a small 1 or 2 year deal worth, you know, 50 or 60, not 1 or 2 years. You're either an Austin Rivers. See, we're getting this thing. You're either an Austin Reeves. If you sign a deal with a team, you're either max deal superstar making 50, 60, 70 million dollars a year, or you're Austin Rivers. Oh my God, I did it again. Austin Reeves, Austin Reeves on the Lakers, where you sign an okay contract, but you know, the 4th year is like an option, and you can get traded, and it's like a salary team friendly deal or something like that. And then there's like the low, then there's like almost league minimum, you know, 2 years, $3 million or something crazy like that. You like, there's no more Norman Powell. Norman Powell signed like a 5-year, $75 million contract. He's a mid-level role player. They ain't signing those no more. And I think it's because of the advent of the TV money and the superstars and the supermax that the league put in there from the last CBA. It's eradicated the middle class in the NBA. And Austin Rivers was like one of the only people in the media talking about that. So my point is, I'm going on an Austin Rivers tangent, but he doesn't, to me, say things that don't make sense. So I'm not getting the shade, other than when he went to play for his dad on the Clippers, it did irreparable damage to his reputation. That's the only thing that I can think of as to why people have a problem whenever he opens his mouth. Because I also agree with him here, and I'm going to second what you said. You know, if LeBron truly cares about the welfare of his kid, He will see that he is not ready for the league and let him stay in college for as long as he wants until he becomes more NBA ready. Money's not an option. He's like the second or third highest paid athlete via NIL money. There's only like 2 people making more money than him, and one of them is Caleb Williams. Like, this kid is already generationally wealthy off of his NIL money, and all he did was play high school basketball and be LeBron James' son. So money's not an option. So what incentive is there to rush this thing other than to sort of be that first and maybe only time we'll ever see a father and son playing on the same team together?
Yep.
Which is a play by LeBron. Has to be. Like, who else cares as much about that than him? So to me, this is a LeBron thing. This ain't a Bronny thing. This is a LeBron thing. If LeBron wants to, use his child essentially as a prop to add one more notch on the belt of things that LeBron James accomplished in his career, then yeah, he'll get drafted. He won't be ready. He'll play on the same team as LeBron, and then perhaps into perpetuity, he might continue to get opportunities just because he was LeBron's son. And then he's going to be facing the same challenges that Austin Rivers did. Yeah. So I think Austin Rivers is right. I don't think Austin Rivers is wrong. And at least when Austin Rivers got drafted, he was more ready for the league than Bronny is. Austin Rivers was a lottery pick. He was the 10th pick in 2012. Like, I mean, it sounds weird when he says it, but he was number one. He was the number 1 high school basketball player in the country at one point. He went to Duke. They made a deep. I don't know. Did they make a deep run? I forget how deep that the tournament run they ran was when he was at Duke. But he was more NBA ready than Bronny. Is my point.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that you can justify Bronny going to the league is the power of his dad. And so hell yeah, he's gonna have to deal with that nepotism label for as long as he's in the league, if that's the way it plays out. But if he continues to develop as a player, let's say he plays 3 years at USC, and in year 2 and 3, he's averaging between 15 and 20 a game, running a point, getting like 8 or 9 assists a game and dropping buckets. Even if they don't win, he's not going to have to deal with that as much coming into the league. Right. Then he can be a known player. But if LeBron wants to do this father and son on the same team thing, nothing's going to be able to stop that. So this is being orchestrated, as is everything else, by LeBron.
Yeah, boy.
LeBron is the one who's pulling the puppet strings on all of this bullshit. This is a LeBron move.
Yeah,
LeBron is so egotistical. You don't think LeBron knows that his acolytes in the media will use him playing for 23 years and playing on the same team as his son as a piece of evidence for why he's the greatest player of all time? They'll do it. They will do that because they pull anything. The LeBron people in the media pull at anything to make this claim. LeBron knows this. He knows this. He knows that's one thing Jordan didn't do. That's one thing that one of these other players can't take away from me. That's one thing that these haters can't take away from me. Yeah. You don't think Shannon Sharpe will bring that up? You don't think when Shannon Sharpe's on First Take and they're having one of their debates that Shannon Sharpe isn't going to bring up the way he played for as long as he did and played on the same team of his son and use that as a piece of evidence to cite why he's the greatest of all time? Of course he will. LeBron knows this. As shallow and egotistical and narcissistic and passive aggressive as I feel LeBron is, he is nevertheless smart and perceptive. He knows that he can do certain things like this, and in the media over time, it will add to his greatest of all time cachet. So it's a bit gross that his son now becomes a pawn within that operation.
Right.
But be that as it may, that's what we're looking at. This is LeBron behind the curtain, commanding, everybody in the land of Oz to do what he wants, including his son, even if he's not ready for that stuff. But the shade at Austin Rivers for lamenting on this, I don't get that. To me, Austin Rivers ain't said nothing that's wrong here, this included, so I'm not getting that. But to me, this is a LeBron ploy all day, every day. This is a LeBron, more evidence for LeBron being the greatest ever stuff. It's a media thing. It's a media creation. It's all that kind of stuff. And this kid is a part of it, but he can cry in his Ferrari just like everybody else because the kid is already generationally wealthy. Money has nothing to do with this. I do not want to hear the argument that Bronny should go to the league as soon as possible so that he can cash in on as many NBA checks as he can. The kid is already $15-20 million in off of his NIL money. Money is not an issue for this guy. And he's the son of a billionaire. Money has nothing to do with this.
No.
I do not want to hear that weak ass justification. This is just about the symbolism that this will invoke, which will only benefit LeBron.
Yeah, and well said. And I'll just say this, man, I think, for the objective people with LeBron, I think we've got enough evidence. It just keeps compiling by the week, it seems. I mean, so much drama this man got going on every year. So, and you can just tack this onto the weird list of weird shit, man. I get it. I really do, bro. I totally get it. Like, I'm pretty sure he was probably like 2 years in the league, 3 years in the league. He was like, bro, if I pace this out right, I can play with bro. And that's great. That's a great vision and dream. Hell, I would, if I'm playing a video game, I would have loved to have done that, So I get where he's coming from. But at some point, you gotta see what you're doing to this young man, I would say, when it comes to, his well-being with this stuff. Because he just might end up being like Marcus Jordan.
Yep.
And being on some weird stuff later. It's like, damn, nigga, why you so weird? But look what your dad is, and look what all this public stuff you had going through. So hopefully he don't turn into being a weirdo. I think bro's a real hooper. I just think he needs to 3-4 years, man. And I would say at tops, man. I don't know what his ceiling is for the league, man, but just an effective role player. And even then, man, I still feel like he'll catch hell. For not being a perennial all-star. So, best of luck to this guy. I don't know why the hate for Austin Rivers, but I laugh at it. So yeah. I laughed when I saw, I don't know how true it was. I think Cameron also told him to shut up. So I didn't see that. I can't confirm that. But, yeah.
I think it's the Clippers Doc thing. I really don't, and I am not an Austin Rivers fan. I couldn't stand him when he played for the Magic. I couldn't stand him when he played for the Sixers. I mostly couldn't stand him for the majority of his career. Every team he played for, he was on teams that played against the team I wanted to win in the postseason. So I've rooted against Austin Rivers pretty much for the majority of his career as a player. But come on, man, he's not saying anything wrong here. I don't get that. I think that he is the quintessential NBA Nepo baby. And I think that's how the world looks at him. And I think that does discredit his career to a degree because he had already staked a claim for himself as an individual player before he was on the Clippers. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, people suggested that was Doc's way of trying to extend his career as a player. And that's fine, but it's not like he wasn't a viable player before that. That's the part that I don't get the Austin Rivers shade, man, but whatever. It is what it is. I think he made a great point here, and I think that this is Puppet Master LeBron pulling all of these strings. And why not? Because at the end of the day, whatever does not go bad will not be blamed. He won't get the blame for it anyway, so why the hell not?
Yeah, facts, bro. Facts.
Yeah. Shouts out to Austin Rivers, man.
For
guess keep doing your thing over there on ESPN.
Yeah, go Heat.
Yeah.